Let's see, are we live? Are we live? Let's make sure I'm not. There we are. Welcome, everybody. Let's get started with this stream. It's been an exciting, 48 hours since the last stream. Maduro being basically paraded around New York City. That was extreme. Really, it brings out the third world energy of the entire thing. But then again, we really haven't had a president like Trump before. But we'll see what the future holds. And of course, thinking about my readings and then that I did the other night, and then seeing Balding Bankrupt's video coming back, where he retitled his video, kind of funny, to catch on to the algorithm. And I rewatched the video because it came out like 2 years ago. And the locals were saying like, oh, certain places were dangerous. Okay. And it just brought back the reading I did on how this would turn out for the people of Venezuela. And Hargalaz was in Fehu in that reading. And yes, there's still that large criminal element there in Venezuela that we have to keep in mind, that these criminals, they're going to be coming after the oil companies, and they're going to be coming after any Venezuelans that they hire to work at these oil companies. So yeah, there's that element there. Not only are they going to interrupt the oil companies, but also the, basic hardworking people there. Palpatine would have brought order to the world. Do it. Yes, it seems like Trump's he's trying to move chess pieces around like an aggressive Palpatine, except it's... Who would I label as Palpatine in our current world? Gosh. Yeah, I guess I would put Netanyahu as Palpatine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Sith scream as Palpatine lunges towards Mace Windu, Kate Fisto, and who were the other two? There was that Zabrak and that other guy. But anyway, yeah, they fell really quickly. Anyway, off on Star Wars. Yes, Trump's more like a less eloquent Count Dooku. Nobody deserves that honor. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, Netanyahu's a little too obvious. Although Palpatine was pretty obvious at some points. But let's get into it, because I'm going to be talking not only about Venezuela, I'm going to be talking about Greenland, I'm going to be talking about Iran, yeah, a couple things came up. I wanted to bring this one up first. It's hilarious. Let me make sure the volume is good.
They say you have seized Venezuela for the oil. Yes, this is true, that there is that.
Oh, whoops. Boy, I'm not with it tonight. Okay, let's get back to it.
They say you have seized Venezuela for the oil. Yes, this is true, that there is that which has been brought to the forefront of this earthly battle. But the enemy has sought and was seeking to bring war and to bring conflict through Venezuela and to control the oil of the earth.
This pastor here, he's feeling the Holy Spirit. Whoa! And he's got to take a nervous poop after this.
But the spiritual oil and the natural oil does not belong to the forces of darkness or to those who thought that they could bring a one world order. This is my reset. And the oil of the natural, and the oil of the Spirit is mine, says the Lord.
The oil of the Spirit and the oil of the natural is mine. Yeah, and this guy with the crazy ass prop collar, yeah, apparently this guy's a Zionist pastor, claimed that God told him that all of Venezuela's oil rightfully belongs to the United States, not the forces of evil. He says God revealed that a one world order was being orchestrated through the forces of darkness in Venezuela. Well, I don't know how much one world order you could get done under that brand of socialism. Yeah, exactly. It is really goofy. Goofy but hilarious. But then you gotta remember that there are people in this country that take these types of pastors seriously, and they're willing to give them hundreds of thousands of dollars. And these types of pastors also receive hundreds and thousands of dollars from Israel to pump out Zionist bullshit. Yes, he who controls the spice controls the universe. Yes, exactly. Well, he who controls the oil here on Earth controls the entire planet until we move on from oil. But yeah, this, that was one of the things that just popped out of, this entire, it's a Zionist operation when you get down to who's actually pulling the strings on Trump, who they want in power. And then, it's kind of, we're looking at what's going on and who is, what's Trump's next move. We got to keep an eye on Israel because Iran is starting to get involved here. We're gonna look at this real briefly. Come on. Yeah, Iranians are taking over entire cities. The Islamists are on the run in Hamadan. Yeah, they have had enough, and it is good to see whether this is organic or some sort of staged insurrection through Israel. It could be a combination of both, because what I'm hearing, the inflation in Iran is absolutely crazy, and then there's a water shortage, which is crazy. And Iran used to be a beautiful place that was developed, and then the CIA staged a coup there, and it got into all sorts of complicated shit. But then the Muslims took over and made it a completely undesirable place. Alrighty, let's see these comments here. That's crazy. God told me that you need to give money. America gives to Israel to me. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, the God of Israel told you to. Calling the others the enemy. Timos is the designation of evil to actions against them. This is the conditional moral obligation of action. Removes, yes. But, in my reading that I did the other day on Iran, which was a special request, it shows that really it's going to be pushed more by the women in this country, and these women are going to be pushing the men to take action because they've been treated like shit objectively in Iran. These Muslim men are just not good. They don't know how to treat women other than to treat them like shit. And of course the feminists, the liberal feminists want to say, oh well, they can wear hijabs if they want to, and hijabs are actually liberating from the jealousy, and it's all Muslim propaganda that they've been fed about Iran. Getting stoned in the face isn't fun or pretty. Um, so, yeah, one more Islamic nation, with an uprising. And, it really kind of reminds me of the Arab Spring that happened in 2011. But that led to a bunch of shit as well. But we are going to go on to Greenland. I know I'm jumping all over the place tonight, but my bookmarks tonight are all over the place. So we're going to talk about Greenland, because as Trump has, gotten us into Venezuela, he's been talking about Greenland for well over a year now. Or I'm not sure exactly when he started to talk about Greenland. Some point last January, where the kingdom of Denmark, it's under Denmark's rule. But then you look at where Greenland is and how close it actually is to Russia. And then there's not a lot of habitable land. So why does Trump want Greenland? Or should I say, why does Israel want Greenland? It's for their natural resources. The rare earth minerals there, they want that, just as they wanted in Venezuela. So we have to watch this develop and see what this means, as time passes on, because, at the end of the day, we're pretty much assholes in all of this, where we can't do much of anything to stop all of this except complain about it occasionally, or be aware of it. But with this going on, it seems like half the world is, and I've seen this in memes, and I'm feeling it intuitively, where half of the world is going to be separating, and the other half of the world is going to be going to Russia, and the other half is going to be going to China. And, China has had their fingers in Venezuela, obviously. They were there when Venezuela was invaded by America the other day, and somebody made a meme post of one clip from Star Wars Episode 1, where what are they, what are those aliens? I can't remember, but they had the stereotypical Chinese accents, and they were they were in the palace in Thebes, Naboo, and that's when Padme and her royal guards come in and say, we're going to discuss a new treaty. I wish I had saved that meme clip, but it was hilarious. Pneumodians, yes, that's right. But yeah, that's kind of we're getting into some predictive programming with some of this, so also be aware to take a look at media, TVs, movies, or television, movies, books, to see where this is going, because a lot of times Hollywood, which, has a lot of Zionist influence, as we all know. Yes, Pneumodians, yes. They are telling us what's going to happen ahead of time. And that's also what I want to bring up about AI, is people are wondering what AI is going to bring out, or, where are we going to be in 20 years with AI? Is AI just going to be, is it just a fad, or is it going to replace us? Well, remember in the Matrix, they had all the humans living in pods, and they were being siphoned for energy for the machines, the AI, to stay alive. Well, remember in the WEF 2030, you will live in the pod, eat the bugs, you will own nothing and be happy. And that's, yeah, that's I kind of feel that that's a bit of predictive programming. We have to keep in mind of what they're planning. And three major world governments of the Americas, Russia, and China, because China, they've got a lot of leverage within Africa now, where they have their minerals. And then, Israel would be in America's sphere of influence, as well as most of Europe as well, although Europe doesn't really have manufacturing. Something that my husband has been bringing up consistently for the past few days, where he's talking about, well, Trump is talking about Mexico as well. Well, Mexico actually has manufacturing, because America, we sent most of our manufacturing off to China years ago. But there's manufacturing in China. The infrastructure is already, or not in China, in Mexico, it's already there. So say if Trump got really ambitious, that Mexico, if it's annexed into the United States, we get a manufacturing base. And then something just occurred to me, that I saw another reader, an astrologer, make a prediction that this might be 2024's election might be the last election. I kind of wonder if that's going somewhere. Let me see here. Did you see at the start of Call of Duty Ghosts has something to do with America invaded Venezuela 12 years ago and starting a war? No, I haven't played a Call of Duty game since 2010. I don't remember, and I don't even remember if that was Call of Duty Ghosts. That was so long ago. But I do remember in the first Avatar movie that they briefly mention that the main character, his injury was sustained in Venezuela, and people have been bringing up that meme, and I've also shared it myself, which is, we've got some predictive programming coming in with the whole Venezuela thing, because I don't think that it's going to be over and done with. There's going to be boots on the ground, for sure. But when and how long, it depends. But with the cartels there, it's a different type of beast that, perhaps, I haven't, obviously, I'm a woman, haven't been in the military, so I can't really say that much. But I've only heard horror stories growing up in Texas about the cartel just south of the border in Mexico. So I can only imagine that it's not too different in Venezuela. But anyway, let's get to a little more Venezuela news. The Trump administration pressures Venezuela's interim leader, Delcy Rodriguez, to comply with U.S. demands, Israel's demands, after Nicolás Maduro's capture, crack down on drug trafficking, expel Iranian and Cuban operatives, and halt oil sales to U.S. adversaries. Wow. And people are saying that there's some unrest there in Caracas, but then there are reports saying that, oh no, it's just civilians firing at drones, which is kind of interesting. But then also that brings in Cuba. Trump also talked about Cuba really briefly, and it would be quite interesting if he actually made a move on Cuba. It all depends on what Daddy Netanyahu tells Trump to do. Cuba's speaking of bald and bankrupt, I know I opened this stream up talking about bald and bankrupt, but he went to Cuba several years ago and brought a cat home with him. if you haven't watched his channel, it's great. He just goes all over the place and learns languages. People say he's a former MI6 British intelligence. That's why he speaks so many languages and picks them up so quickly. But it's a good way to actually get a feel of how the rest of the world is. Big Daddy BB, yeah, BB Netanyahu, exactly. Yeah, Bibi tells Trump to knock it off and you need to get back on target. Quit telling your people that you're going to do good things for them. It's Daddy's house first. That means Israel. Alrighty. Well, we are going to hear from...
We need Greenland for national security.
Yes, he's going to be talking about Greenland here.
We need Greenland for national security. Not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world.
Ha ha ha.
We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland.
No, you do need Greenland for their resources. Perhaps it's easier to get them. But that's exactly why they're going after them. And, you know, it is, but we've had bases in Greenland before. I recall my late father saying that he was stationed in Greenland for a period of time. This was back in the 60s, for context. In the early 60s, he was stationed there for several months. And, on the base, he said, you know, there were no women there and they would fly in women. So there you go. There's a story for you. Kind of creepy, but yeah, he said there was nothing to do. It was absolutely boring. Bibi. Greenland was promised to Big Daddy Bibi 6,000 years ago. It sure was. It sure was. And so was the oil in Venezuela. It was promised 6,000 years ago. Well, we were promised a good Star Wars movie 6,000 years ago. Maybe we'll get one. But let's hear him yap more.
And on Greenland, you know...
On Greenland now?
Yeah, on Greenland.
How did we come up to Greenland?
So... do you expect to take an action against Greenland?
Well, I don't want to talk about Greenland. Let's talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine. And we'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months.
In about 2 months. We'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. So that puts us in March. Because, yeah, you got to remember, they're in winter for quite a while longer.
20 days.
On Venezuela, we talked so much about energy.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you. You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that
That's
was
actually funny.
What would the justification be for a plane to Greenland? What would the justification?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it, and they know that.
You know, it is kind of funny. What is the European Union doing with Greenland? Because I've never heard anything about it, and I know that there's a bunch of, you know, Europeans that were very offended by America, you know, wanting to take Greenland. But I understand that a lot of Europeans have been worried about Russia and their moves, what they've been doing. Okay, well, you just have America do all your heavy lifting once again. And, you know, I'm not really big on war, but this seems to, the energies seem to be moving in America being in war constantly once again. That is what we are, we're feeling right now, and I've felt it really shift after September, and especially after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And you notice all this news. Nobody's talking about Charlie Kirk anymore. Nobody's talking about the assassination. Hardly anybody is talking about it. So it derailed that entire investigation. And of course, we're never going to hear about it. Yeah, it feels like this has been planned for some amount of time to turn America's war machine up like 10 notches, like relabeling the Department of Defense, the Department of War, and this shift, this energetic shift. Oh, hello. This energetic shift towards a wartime, more eternal wars, because we'll be in Venezuela for a long time. And Greenland will probably, if that comes true, we'll be there for a long time. Are we going to be stretched so thin, or does, Big Daddy Bibby have enough resources and money to keep this, afloat for as long as he wants it? Because you also got to remember, Trump and Netanyahu are quite, they're quite old. Let's actually see, how old is Netanyahu actually? Let's see here. How old is he? He's 76. So yeah, he's around Trump's age, late 70s. But you got to keep in mind that these men have, why they may seem to be elected, really at the end of the day, it's staged elections. A lot of these things are planned. A lot of these men are put into power that are actually related to each other. Somebody actually did a deep dive on the family tree of showing that every president of the United States is somehow related to each other. So yeah, it's a big club and you're not in it. And I've heard this a lot lately. And it's becoming more and more obvious as the days go by. And I know in 2026, we're in the midterms election year. If Democrats start taking up seats and positions within the government, some sort of blue wave, it's not going to change anything that Trump is doing dramatically, because, they're all playing for what he wants, what the Zionists want. That's okay, I'm not into breeding. Oh, come on, you don't like a little do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Well, yeah, exactly. That's, the inbreeding brings to mind European royalty. What was it, that king or prince of Spain? Or was it Portugal? That was inbred just to the point of deformities. And it was also, you saw a lot of inbreeding with the Egyptian pharaohs. They didn't know at the time, but they kept on, sleeping with their concubines and having children with them. But they would, you see Tutankhamun, he had a lot of deformities. I had to make the joke, I'm sorry. I know I'm silly. But as we go into this stage of warfare, we have to keep in mind everything that's going on. And, here's Sigrún's prepping rant is you have to be prepared for what's coming down the pike at this point. Because America, Trump, Netanyahu, they are making lots and lots of moves at this time and very quickly. We kind of had a quiet before the storm. I felt this in December, where I was ending the streams kind of feeling like something big is going to be happening. Something big is going to be coming down the line. So, prepping. We are in January, and as most pagans know, we are in the smack dead of winter. But this is the time to start thinking about growing a garden. Start if you have space to garden, or if you can somehow, if you're in an apartment, and you can plant things in pots that are deep enough, go ahead and start planting that now. What grows in your area? Not only vegetables, but consider growing herbs. Something good is that's also a vegetable, and good for healing is onions. Grow onions. They are great, not only for flavoring food, but they do really work well if you have a cold or a flu, to get rid of a lot of bacteria in your body. And you can also slice up an onion, heat it up, and put it on your ear. If you feel like you've got an ear infection coming on, it'll get rid of it. And then if you have property, you're very lucky. If you can have chickens, hens are excellent to have. Also with prepping, keep in mind that not to discuss your preps or, share with your immediate neighbors that you are prepping, because when shit hits the fan, they're going to be knocking at your door, asking to get some of your preps. You just want to make sure that you look as dumb and confused as they are, to hide, do a little bit of acting. If you have a dog, make sure that they are guard trained. They will bark if somebody's entering your home. And then for Americans, our pew-pews are two-way fun times. You want to make sure that you have those on hand. Not only your pew-pew stock, but also anything to clean said pew-pews. And then also cleaning supplies, general cleaning supplies. Paper towels, TP for your bunghole. Just don't rely on TP USA to provide you, because that is for them, not for you. And I am missing something. General medications, your NSAIDs, ibuprofen, naproxen, acetaminophen, a non-NSAID painkiller, although, it could give you autism, apparently, according to the government nowadays. But for coughs, colds, I suggest stocking, what was I going to say? Teas, because I've actually been handling my colds lately the German way, which is just leaving a window open and drinking teas, and I've been knocking out my colds in 24 hours or less. Honey is also a great prep item because it doesn't expire as long as you keep the lid on tight. Another thing, booze, not beer, but wine and hard liquor. Makes for a good trade item, if you have to have something to trade. And also gold and silver, if you can get it, because, with the whole economic situation, they're kind of playing with fire, with all these economic changes that they're going to have with Venezuela. Is America going to be able to afford all this shit? Make mead. Yes, yes. Oh, I haven't had mead in a while. I've never made my own. I should. But mead is really tasty. There was a meadery in another town that we used to live in before we moved to this house. It was called Azir Meadery, and they had their bottles were really cool. They had the Mjolnir on the front, you know, black background and gold Mjolnir and the lettering. And the guy was local, like he would, you know, see what hives were getting what flowers in the area. You know, sometimes dandelion flavored mead or some sort of like a berry flavored mead because blackberries grow around here. It's really tasty. Yeah. Greetings from Frau Holaland. Yes. Hope you are all well. Gotta go though. I'm recovering from a headache. Oh, yes. Yes, recover. Urus. Use Urus and Wunyo for your headache. It's really good. And Dagas. Visualize Dagas over your third eye here to transform your headache from pain into, you know, normal. But what was I going on? I was just talking about mead, booze. Yeah, already mentioned toilet paper. Obviously, your shelf-stable items. You know, your pastas, your pasta sauces, shelf-stable meats. Tuna is a big one. Peanut butter. I know some people are like call it bug butter. That really don't like it. But chicken is a good one. But yeah, and then make sure to prep whatever your family needs. But yeah, this is just what I'm thinking of doing in this, you know, period where, you know, and it also sounds like we're actually going to be getting, I know they said it wasn't going to happen, but it sounds, you know, if they bring it up, it might as well be happening, that they're going to start bringing up Venezuelans. And that's an entirely different breed compared to Americans. You know, Venezuelans grew up in a harsh, environment. And most Americans are pretty soft, so we could be seeing, you know, Venezuelans come up here, although I have heard that a lot of Venezuelans in America are wanting to go back down to Venezuela. Whatever happens, we just have to wait and see, and to keep our guards up, because you don't know what shit is gonna come out of this. I did a reading, of course, did several, but it's still up and coming, developing, you know, seeing how those readings manifest, you know, how things manifest in our daily lives. It's definitely getting exciting. Sometimes in a fun way and sometimes in a scary way. But I'm going to leave it open for questions. You could ask me anything, off topic, on topic, I don't care. Yeah, have some fun. This rant has been brought to you by Red Hook Big Ballard. It's very tasty. But heading into the new year, not necessarily a new year for pagans, although that starts in spring for a lot of us. Some of us it starts in after Samhain. But yeah, definitely the energies are getting funny and really weird. Now let's see if anything fun is going on X right now. Because it's always a fun time over there. Yeah, people want to get Trump on the Insurrection Act. I guess Dan Bongino, what the hell is going on with him? Dan Bongino declares war on black pillars and grifters trying to hijack MAGA. Well, can you blame them? It is what it is. Oh, apparently he's going back to his podcast, where I just talk about how incompetent the FBI is. Well, you had your chance, dude. And you kind of flubbed it. Yeah, I should, let's share this. Yeah, you've had your chance, Bongino, with the whole Epstein thing. And, the other day, my religious dad said back in the day, you would have rather been Jewish or pagan, or you would not wanted to be a pagan. He has no idea I'm a pagan. Oh, yeah, still in the closet about being pagan, eh? That's okay. But, yeah, it is nice to be pagan. I can certainly say. It definitely opens your mind and frees your soul of, what is going on in the world, and not only what is going on in the world, but just your outlook on things in general changes once you become pagan and you start to study it. Yeah, so this is what I was looking at. Dan Bongino, see, he's going back to his podcast. Yeah, the comment section should be really spicy on that one, especially with how the Epstein files were handled. And I understand, some of them came out, and then others were due to come out the other day, and they didn't. And people were saying that the whole Venezuela thing was a distraction. Well, it was a distraction and all that much more. It was huge. It was nuts. What was going on. Yeah, just going ahead and grabbing a president of another country. Yeah, but yeah, exactly, with the craziness of it all. Maybe I might check that out. Of course, Bongino's probably been sworn to secrecy of several different varieties where he's not even able to say what was in the file. But he said a couple of months ago that what he's seen has changed him forever. Excuse me. Yeah. Oh, most Christians who mention anything of that kind mistook woke atheism for paganism. Yeah, they sure do. And it's an annoying pain in the ass because woke atheists, I've encountered them quite a few times. When I tell them that I'm pagan, they've laughed at me, and it's okay. I can see I understand your mindset, but you're still an asshole for laughing at me, because you wouldn't laugh at a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim. No, you're gonna laugh at a pagan. Yeah, I've encountered that more than once. And, it was in person, and I was younger, and I didn't, want to cause a scene. I was younger and a lot shyer. Now I would probably say something like I just said originally, which is, yeah, you wouldn't dare laugh at a Christian, Muslim, or a Jew if they told you that was their religion, but you're gonna mock a pagan. Okay, yeah. Yeah, pagans don't proselytize like Christians do. We don't go door to door knocking. Hey, have you accepted your ancestral gods? And are you praying to the gods today? You want to join us in a circle? Come on, bring your offering to the gods. Yeah, we don't do that. No, but yeah. But anybody else have any other questions? Feel free. I am all ears. You could change the subject. And I actually do like doing this at the end of my streams, where I leave the floor open and see what y'all have to say. if we did that, people would freak out. Exactly, yes. It would be hilarious. If an atheist laughs at you for believing in gods, tell them the state doesn't exist. Yeah, the state isn't what you think it is. And besides, the state, Washington, D.C. is full of pagan symbology anyway. Oh, you're in Europe? Oh, there are not many Christians left here. Good morning. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's 9:16 p.m. in Washington State where I am. So, good evening. I have to ask you, because we were just talking about Greenland earlier. What do you think about what if Trump wants Greenland? Because I kind of think at this point we need to pull the reins in because we're doing a little bit too much here. If Greenland wants to come over, maybe, but it belongs to Denmark. And Denmark has given us some good things other than, Vikings. I am a big Metallica fan, and I don't hate on Lars Ulrich too much. I'll wait for you to get back. But yeah, a lot of I see some of the comments about Greenland, and what could Denmark do again? Superior firepower? Well, I guess Denmark could complain, but yeah, as far as that goes, yeah, it depends on who has the power, and honestly, right now, America has the power. It would just be down the line, would Americans feel guilty about it? Because definitely Americans feel guilty about what happened in Iran, or not Iran, but Iraq, Afghanistan. Yeah, Greenland was Norse, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, traveling to Greenland, that would be cool. But I would rather go to Iceland. If I had the time and the money to go to Iceland, I would. I would definitely like to try the shark there. I am a bit of an adventurous eater. My husband, not so much. Even though he's more Scandinavian than I am, genetically. I've got Scandinavian in me, but yeah, he's Swedish and Frisian. Yeah, he's a bit of a Netherland Dutch Viking. He's very tall. Oh, nice. Yeah, I was just sharing how earlier in the stream, my late father was stationed in Greenland, but there was nothing there. Oh, shark in the Gulf Shores? What, that ended up would be like tiger shark, or what are those Mako shark varieties? Real small. I don't know how that would taste though. Yeah, the only thing I wouldn't eat is something like with a huge mercury content. I think sharks would have that because the larger the creature is, the higher the mercury content it has. Because like that's why they say don't eat whale or dolphin. Not only because they are, very sentient beings, and can feel pain and communicate in ways humans can't. All the moral reasons, but their bodies is they're full of mercury. Oh, Robert, you've eaten shark. What does it taste like? Don't tell me it tastes like chicken. Yeah, the rotten shark. They would have it in dip and they were always sold out. Yeah, the closest thing that we have to something that weird and Scandinavian here is lutefisk. There's Sons of Norway here in Washington State, and they have, salmon dinners, but they have lutefisk, pickled herring, tasty. Halfway between fish and steak. Fish steak. Oh, maybe a little more like a tuna steak-ish. That's interesting. Very interesting. If anybody else has any more comments or input, change the topic. 9 minutes. 9 minutes is all I have left to play with you. Blue shark. Ooh, that's cool. Sharks are cool. Yeah, I haven't partaken, but I would try it if it was offered. I had somebody earlier ask me, because what was I talking about on the other stream? Oh, I was talking about beef in Alberta being really good, but then I tried, he was asking me if I tried bison or elk, and I have. I'm really big on venison, if I can get it. I don't go hunting. My family used to, but you could buy venison, or if you know a hunter, you can always get some venison. Yeah, and it's good and chili. But yeah, like I said, my husband's not an adventurous eater, and I tricked him into eating some venison, and he didn't know it was venison. He thought it was just some sort of beef, some very lean beef. Oh, bison meatloaf. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, bison tacos. I hate to say it, there's a taco stand in town, and I think the workers there were picked up by ICE, because I haven't seen them in a week. Buffalo burger. Deer jerky marinated with Jägermeister. Ooh, horse burgers. There's one thing I would not eat. Not for religious reasons, but I was a little girl who played with, instead of Barbies, I played with the horses, the Breyer horses that were, they're modeled after real horses. They're anatomically correct. And they're quite pricey. Some things you just don't let go of when you get older. Yes, and I did ask my father for a horse, and he said no. That's always something that the girls ask their daddies. Oh, can I have a horse? No. Deer jerky. Messing with Sasquatch. I live in the Sasquatch neck of the woods over here in Washington State. I live in a town, but yeah, if you get too far out of town, people say that they've seen Sasquatch sightings. Yeah, the Pacific Northwest. They love it where it's really wet. Rational Focusism. Have you ever heard of that one Star Wars comic where Han Solo and Chewbacca land on Earth and Han ends up dying, and then Chewbacca is confused for Sasquatch? I think that's Legends, though. Obviously. But, yeah. But what is everybody's go-to offering for the gods, because we're talking about meats. And oh, you have that one, cool. What is everybody's go-to offering for the gods? You know, is it mead? Is it wine? Other types of liquor? Do you offer meats, incense, candles, prayers? Because, you know, we're talking about meats. And you can offer the gods meats, and then eat it yourself or feed it to an animal. And if the animal eats it, it's, you know, been accepted. But yeah, pouring mead out on the ground. I like to do it facing north. Oh, premium meat to Freya. Nice, yes. Yeah, pouring the mead out on the tree. Yes, good option. And sometimes I do acts of service, especially to my animals. You know, for Freya, I've got cats, taking special care of them, and doing certain things with my family, for Frigg. Right, yeah, prayers. Any type of alcohol, even though milk is attested to, exactly. Preferably self-made mead, any self-made meal as well, exactly. Oh, you got a real tree, nice. That's good. That's good. But yeah, milk was rare in the days too, because you had to have a cow, and the milk obviously wasn't pasteurized like it is now. So raw milk was a highly sought offering, you know, from you know, the north and all the way into Egypt. They talk about offering milk, because you got to remember that was the desert, and having milk fresh like that, it would go spoil rather quickly. Kind of crazy to think of. Ah. If it's self-made or self-raised, it's stronger. Like I said earlier, I haven't made my own mead. At some point I should, because like I would definitely flavor it. What I like to flavor everything is with orange. I'm very partial to citrus. Um, yeah. True, yeah. One of the best offerings you can give is your time. Time is the one resource you can never get back. Exactly. Right. Time and energy. That's when I talk about doing spell work. I use Aleister Crowley's definition of magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. You know, the science and the art, you know, the science and how, you know, your spell planning. When are you going to do your spell? Are you lining it up with the moon cycle? Are you doing it during a certain time of the year as well? That's time. The gods see that effort. And you know, if you're doing magic, you should be doing it with a god or a goddess. Um, and then the art, you know, art can be physical art, or it could be, you know, the efforts that you put into the aesthetics, you know, the joy that you put into your offering or your magic. It's just not a mundane thing. Offering to the gods is, you know, never let it become mundane. It is very special, because you're communicating with a deity that, you know, has been with humanity since the start. You know, whether you view, you're a hard polytheist, or you see these as thought forms, egregores, or if you see the gods as archetypes, or if a lot of people believe that the gods were actually real people at one point, that they are our ancestors, literally. I want to do spell work, but I keep going back to developing pagan philosophy. My husband, he kind of had the same thing. He wanted to do spell work, but he kept on reading books that would bring him back into, okay, to do spell work, you have to do divination before that. Okay, and then he started to study tarot. And now he's a professional tarot reader. And he, uses astrology, palmistry, but his entire premise is tarot, and he has this bank of esoteric knowledge in his mind that he can see the trajectory of certain actions based on, what he knows, the lessons that tarot gives. And, he's also studied runes and such, and astrology. His kind of like his philosophy is, through predictions where they might seem mundane, but he knows what it is ahead of time. Could you provide a recommendation for books on spell work for those of us without a teacher? Do you want to do rune magic? Because I can recommend Freya Aswynn's her book on Northern Mysteries and Magics. No, I'm going to say that there's like a brief bit there about it's not really feminist, but Llewellyn told Freya Aswynn to put that in there. But it is an excellent source for getting started into spellwork, because Freya Aswynn has, that grounding in traditional occultism, but then she uses the runes, so you're not only going to learn about rune magic, but rune divination as well. And she was my teacher. I could suggest my own rune book first, but it's about healing and diet. And you could get that one too. And I have a book on Wicca, but I know you're not Wiccan. But yeah, I tend to uphold others before I, uphold myself, or, promote others before I promote myself. Freya Aswynn's book is definitely a go-to. My book, if you want to learn rune magic for healing, I have a lot of practical advice on that, and you can always bother me if you have a question. There's one book on Wicca, I don't have it, but it's not necessarily so Wiccan, but it's like written from my psychologist perspective on the mental mentality of doing witchcraft. Oh, yes. Yes, Idra Thorson's books are very good, yes. I do have my history in Wicca. And Wicca is good for those who just want to start out in paganism and don't know what they want to get into yet. Although I started out with Egyptian paganism before I got into Wicca, because I wanted to, get into something more ancestral, but I didn't know where to start. And then 2015, that's when I got into Norse paganism. But Wicca's great for beginners, if you're going from Christianity into paganism. Wicca provides a lot of basics, And about 9 out of 10 Wiccans, they'll move on to some other form of paganism. But then there are some very accomplished Wiccans that I have met, mostly surrounding what's known as ATC, Aquarian Tabernacle Church. They're based in Washington. That they are very accomplished, like Black Sun. He's an accomplished Wiccan, and he's, you know, an author, very sound, but old hippie. He actually did my husband's and I's hand fasting 11 years ago. Yeah, so. But, yeah, I even invoked the Norse gods, Odin and Frigga, in our hand fasting. So, yes, the old gods were there. Wiccans hate me because I don't take them serious. Oh, that's fine. I mean, yeah, you gotta, there's some Wiccans that don't take Wicca seriously. So when you don't take them seriously, you know, they've already projected their unseriousness upon you. But yeah, I don't meet too many Wiccans nowadays. It's all a bunch of young women who call themselves witches, but they're not working with any gods. And that just kind of irks me, but, you know, they're either going to learn or they're not going to learn. Like the whole TikTok witch craze. Yeah, where they're all learning wrong information. And I try to provide the best information that I can around here. Try to teach the newbies. But there's, you know, a lot of people are just going straight to their ancestral path, whether it be Norse, Greek, you know, Hellenic, Celtic. Oh yeah, Robert's initiated Wiccan. Yeah. And that's another thing too, is that there's not many initiated Wiccans anymore, you know, that have that initiation lineage like they used to. You know, like the Gardnerian. Oh, what's the other one? That kind of offshoot. Alexandrian, yes, that's what I was thinking of. You know, going from that lineage, there's not a lot of them left because, you know, once they started to publish these Wiccan rituals, the whole initiation thing kind of got lost. Most pagans in my area are some type of Celtic Wicca, and they stare at me puzzled when I talk about Celtic history and archaeology. Oh, you're not from a Celtic country. Like the Sith, are there only two? Yes, a master and an apprentice. Yes, the rule of two started 1,000 years ago. I don't really focus on Wicca in my practice now, but I still am that. Well, that's cool. Yeah, like I was saying, 9 out of 10 Wiccans move on to something else, and like the 1 out of 10 remain in Wicca, and they are very learned. And you know, I've heard you, or I've read what you've posted on X quite a bit, and yeah, you're well read. You're not the garden variety Wiccan who's only read Scott Cunningham's what was it? Wicca for the Solitary Practitioner. Although that's a sweet book. And then his books on herb magic, or they still hold up to this day. But yeah, I try not to hate too much on Wiccans, because I know they're just starting out, most of them. Yeah, Pagan TikTok is a strange place. Yeah, I can't hang on. I don't go on TikTok. I post videos there, but I don't look at other videos there. It's too, the energy of that app, I don't like it. I don't like the way it makes me feel. Because I can look at Instagram Reels, I can look at YouTube Shorts, and I'm just fine. But I go on to TikTok and I don't feel good. Oh, you did a degree in archaeology. Cool beans. Yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, there are some apps where like you can definitely feel a shift in energy. Like X is a completely different place than it was when it was Twitter. Actually, it's not as toxic as it was when it was Twitter. Facebook, I don't use it as much anymore because I'm on X a lot now. Instagram is fun. Obviously, I avoid TikTok. And it's also it's owned by Israel now, pretty much. So that might be one of the main reasons. But even before that, I didn't like using it. So, you know, it feels like it's cooking my frontal lobe of my brain. Um, I started out with Teen Witch by Silver Ravenwolf in spring of 1999. Oh, I read about reincarnation on page 26, and I felt like it had come home. Yeah. You know, Silver Ravenwolf gets a lot of hate. And I had made a video years ago documenting her life, and somebody got mad that I wasn't bringing up the controversy. But then I looked into the controversy when I was making the video, and I'm like, this isn't such a big deal, because everybody's doing this. And what it was is people hiding their paganism from their parents, that they were practicing paganism or witchcraft. Well, that already happens. And then people were shitting on Silver Ravenwolf because, like, oh, she's Fluffy Bunny and she makes everything super simple. But then I'm seeing the haters, they're doing the same thing Silver Ravenwolf is doing. So I'm just kind of like, okay, you're just jumping on a hater bandwagon here. Oh, Facebook hates you and I'm already getting strikes on YouTube. Yeah, you gotta not be so naughty. I guess X is a good place. I think you could post videos on X. You might get a bigger audience too. And where else? Obviously you're on Rumble. I haven't been posting on Rumble. And I don't do lives on Rumble either. What was the other one? Gab. But Gab is owned by stupid Christians. That used to be fun, but I deleted my Gab account because it's just stupid Christians. And then I had a BitChute account, but every time I would post a video, I would get a comment along the lines of, oh, you're a Satanist or you're a Jew, and they didn't even watch the video. They just go through the comment section of your video and they just go to call you names, and it's just like, and I've called several of them out and they're like, yeah, I didn't watch your video. I was like, oh, come on, dude. At least watch my video if you're gonna hate on me. I like actual feedback. But yeah, as far as that goes, yeah, I have to be what about Odyssey? Yeah, I have an Odyssey account, and I don't really use it. Oh, you have pre-boomer computer skills. Oh yeah, Substack and Telegram. Very Jewish. Oy vey, you found me. The gig is up. Sorry. I had to. But yeah, Substack. I have a Substack. I don't post on there as much as I should. And Telegram. Yeah, Telegram I have one. I only have a few followers on there now. I'm always forgetting to use it. Like, I've got so many freaking social media accounts. Yeah. And that's just my husband's always telling me, oh, you gotta be everywhere. Yeah, okay, I'll be everywhere. And I forget about social media accounts. That's okay. As long as I'm on the ones that I use the most, people can find me. Yep. But yeah, pre-boomer computer skills, yeah, the only one that's difficult to use, yeah, X wouldn't be, it's not too difficult, as far as posting videos, because I posted a video on there before. I don't think with this account, the Universal Pagan Temple, but yeah, it's not too hard. Have I been called a communist? No, a couple of months ago I was called a typical feminist, and they didn't even watch the video, because I'm not truly a feminist, no. And what else was I called? You know, I've been called so many different versions of a Satanist. Been told that I eat babies before, which is goofy. And that was actually serious. Why do I find 2 Telegram channels called Universal Pagan Temple? Because I really don't know how to use Telegram. The one in my description is the most current one. The description on this video. That's the thing. And then I've also, do I have an additional Telegram channel? I don't know. I don't think so. But that's the one. The main one I use is the one in my description. And then, yeah, I got a bunch of freaking, yeah, those are, is it on there? It's gone. Let's see here. I'll have to fix my description because it's gone. That's not good. I've been called an atheist because I'm a witch. Well, that's goofy. Someone told me I eat babies as well. I just went with it and said my favorite part is the toes. Aww. Babies are so cute, though. But anyway, yeah. I'm rambling now. But yeah, it is getting kind of late. We'll do another stream in a couple of days as things progress with what's going on in the world. Sure, it's going to get more interesting as time goes on. Thank you all so much for joining me, and until next time, hail the gods.